Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Smash Dispatch. We've got a really good show today, but of course, I always gotta introduce my co-host with me. We got Mr. Ultimate Shadow X.
Hello.
Hello everybody. Today, like I said, we have actually a pretty fun show because first of all, we have some new info from Sakurai, which is going to lead into the main subject about this episode, which is our updated predictions for Fighter Pass 2, because I believe we did this right after Byleth, once the Byleth presentation came out and they told us there's going to be 6 characters, but since then we've had Mii costume events, we've had Spirit events, we've had Min, and obviously what happened in the world and stuff, so I figured it'd be cool to just sit down once again and do our updated predictions on who we think the final 5 characters are. And speaking of that, Alta, would you like to tell us about Sakurai's new article?
So Sakurai basically he put out his updated column, and he was talking about development of Min and development of the future DLC, and I think there are some things here that I think are relevant in regards to Fighter Pass 2. So first off, in regards to Min, he was saying that when he was developing Ultimate, he was able to see Nintendo titles that were still in development when he was adding the characters.
That's crazy.
And he figured that adding an ARMS character would be very difficult, so he just did Springman as an assist and had ARMS spirits, and then decided when he had the opportunity for the second Fighters Pass, he said that he would add an ARMS character.
That's really cool. That's such a cool thing to be like. It's very rare, I think, developers have a chance to be like, oh, this was too late, and then be like, never mind, we can go back to it now that we have extra dev time. And it shows how, I guess, not necessarily, it shows how much he really wanted to integrate an ARMS character into the game.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that he was able to capture the spirit of the character so well, because he also says in the article that he was thinking about, how can this character work? He considered not even giving her special moves at all. Which, I mean, if you think about Min, she really doesn't have that many, quote-unquote special moves to begin with, if you know what I mean.
No.
So,
the only thing is just that the different arms are technically specials, but they're still smashes.
The jump, I guess, the up B.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, no, it really is even a few weeks removed from it. It's Min's such a fun, weird, different character that to this day I'm just this is really just one of the most unique in the cast.
Right. Yeah. They aren't a super flashy character, but I think you're playing your own game with Min. It's
yeah, exactly.
It's very much like any other character that has it's sort of like the Shotos or like Terry, where it's they're so they even though they follow the rules of Smash with having the specials, they still don't play like anyone else because of how their buttons work.
Exactly.
He then goes on to say that when working with other IPs, the new developer doesn't necessarily have to follow the original games 100%. And the most important thing is ensuring the characteristics and uniqueness of the original game shine in the new project. So basically saying that he values uniqueness and of the fighter being added than he does the actual, I guess, what they actually do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is kind of stuff we've known before. Sakurai loves to be super accurate as much as he can be, while obviously making things flexible for a fighting game. Obviously, what's it called? Joker isn't out here doing these grapple attacks and fights and stuff and all that. So it's obviously he'll take creative liberties when he has to adjust for the game, but he just has so much respect for how they integrate them in there.
Yeah, I think he says he doesn't necessarily have to follow the original games 100%. And like you said with Joker, a lot of Joker's moves, his A attacks, his dagger attacks, that's not referencing anything in a game. It's just what would be flashy, quick movements that Joker would do, blah blah blah. So and then also in regards to I think the whole thing of he values the uniqueness of the character. A lot of people were why Piranha Plant? And I think we said this back when we did the Mario episode, but Piranha Plant was literally it feels like Sakurai just put that in there because it's I can. Who else plays or does anything that Piranha Plant can do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely no one, yeah. And like again, it's such like you don't think of it that way, but Piranha Plant is iconic. Not in the way you think of iconic, but it's like literally you can tell your mom, do you know that thing? They'll be like, oh yeah, it's the plant from Mario. You know, it's like everyone knows that thing. So in a weird way, it is an iconic character.
Right.
It's great.
And then the stuff that also is relevant to the end of the Fighter Pass. So again, there's only 5 more DLC fighters. We wanted to clarify that because I know some people are confused about that during the Min reveal. He also says that once he's done with Fighter Pass 2, that development will cease, and they've been on continuous development from Smash for 3DS to Wii U era. Like, they've been continuously working on Smash since then.
It's crazy. That's
and
so many years.
He says that, like, he's been working on Smash for, like, 16 years straight now.
Insane.
And then they're going to finish, the remaining characters. They're trying their best to do it from home. And if they have to do another reveal from home, Sakurai's, like, thinking of ways he can improve it. But yeah,
that's cool.
That's pretty much everything regarding like the end of the Fighters Pass.
Right. Yeah, I mean, no, that's a big bullet point right there that like people have been questioning this for a while, right? Is this for sure the last pass? Is it not? We don't know. And like them specifically saying once they release all 5, the continuous Smash development from Smash 3DS Wii U will finally come to an end. That feels like a definitive statement. Like, that does tell me it's over after this.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I feel like, the only thing that this game will get after, like, the final character releases, I could imagine, maybe, like, probably balance updates, and maybe some more spirits. Because I feel like spirits don't take necessarily development time. It's more of just getting the rights into stuff,
Yeah. I mean, even if, like, exactly, that's like the spirit ones, it's like, you get the rights, and then you just have someone, like, adjust the fight settings for, like, which, like, what settings are in the battle. So it's like, I don't think it would take that much time, but it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. I think we've been on the camp that this is the last pass. I've thought that for a while, but, yeah, this feels like a solid confirmation that, like, yeah, this is the end of the road, and, like I said, I think they'll still do balance patch and spirits, but I do think that these are the last final 5 characters we're getting.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely think that too. As much as we all think like, oh, it'd be super cool if they just don't make a new Smash and they keep porting and updating this, I just think that's just not like how development works, especially for Sakurai. So wishful thinking.
I mean, exactly. And I mean, it's not just that, it's the fact that like then it would become a little too intimidating if like someone, like let's say someone buys this game like in a year or 2, right? And they see that there's 3 DLC passes that they have to buy. That's basically like 120. That would be like $120 if there was like a 3rd pass. I feel like Sakurai also values like not necessarily milking it, because there is like, as cool and as amazing characters are, it's like there is like a thought of like, okay, now the game is becoming a little too like expensive to hop in to get these characters.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, even if you think about all the DLC during Smash Wii U era, like Ultimate is going above that even. You know what I mean? So like,
right.
Yeah, so I definitely do agree. I do think there is a layer of like Sakurai's probably like, we just we can't keep doing that because it's just excessive at a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And so I figured, so we've had Min, right? And we've had whatever's happened to the world, right? So we got 5 characters to go now. And we also have rumors of an upcoming direct, an upcoming July direct that may or may not happen. So my first question is, do you think we'll see the next fighter in this next direct if it happens?
I highly doubt it. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like because of how Min was handled and the timing of it, I feel like this isn't like a Banjo hero situation. You know what I mean? I think we're sort of past that. I feel like I very much feel like what they're gonna do is just do the same thing they did with Min and be like, the next character could be from blah blah blah, or the next character might be revealed blah blah blah. But I don't think it will be in a direct because I feel like it's just too soon. I don't know.
Right. I don't know. I think they can still reveal because like they reveal when they did the Banjo and Terry reveal, Banjo was revealed basically in June and came out in September. So I think like if they announce a character now in July and then it comes out in October, that would be a solid enough amount of time to like to, like hype up and do all that stuff. Like I don't think it's impossible, and I do think like, and I've said this before, the Min thing doesn't necessarily make sense unless it's like a fighting game, because again, it's like they're not gonna be like, we're adding a character from Kingdom Hearts.
It's true, it's true.
No, we know
again,
exactly. It's like
now I do think that the only way that they would do that again is if they made it like if it was a first party series,
Right, exactly. There's some characters that we can say, again, not 100%, but that technically have been deconfirmed in some way because of how they're implemented. So we have the Mii costume. So obviously Mega Man keeps getting Mii costumes, so I don't think we're ever getting another Mega Man character. They'll be relegated to Costume World forever.
Yeah, as sad as that is, because I'm a very, very big fan of just Mega Man as a franchise, and I think, you could expand it. I do think that Sakurai did try to represent the series as a whole as best as he could with like Mega Man in the Final Smash and all the spirits and music in that,
For sure. We also had Cuphead as a Mii premium costume, so they're not going to be adding Cuphead as a character.
And also, I feel like the existence of Cuphead and other what am I trying to say? And other like indie fighters, I feel like, or indie characters, I feel like that sort of deconfirms a lot of like indie reps. Like I cannot see Shantae getting in if they're gonna put a character like Cuphead as a Mii costume,
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
At most, Shantae would be a premium Mii brawler costume or something like that,
Right. Yeah, and I totally see that. Like, we also have what else? We had some Callie and Marie. I don't think they were gonna be characters. The other way, we had the Vault Boy.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that maybe we could get someone from Bethesda, just because, like, that's like a Western third party, blah blah blah. But I think Vault Boy is probably just gonna be the extent of that,
Yeah, I think it's like, like for a while there was talks of Doom Guy, and I really do think like this introduction of the premium Mii costume, but I could totally see Doom Guy as a premium Mii costume. I don't think. I wouldn't mind him as a character, but I think he's gonna go down that route,
Yeah, get a more Mii Gunner, more love for Mii
Gunner reps.
The Doom Guy outfit.
As if we need more. All right, so let's go into let's think right away. So first of all, how many? Let's try to think here, right? Because I think so we have 5 characters. How many of these do you think are going to be... Oh, we also had a Heihachi, which is a big deal because people for a long time... Heihachi got a Mii costume. People for a long time were thinking that Heihachi would make it in as like a big Tekken rep. But I feel like if Heihachi got Mii costumed, I don't think they're adding a Tekken rep. Again, they could add Jin, who's the second most popular, but I don't know. I just feel like...
Kazuya, who are all like the same family, the same like sort of Tekken... Like, quote unquote, like pro tags, if you want to really just use that word.
Exactly.
But like, I mean, Heihachi. It is funny because you'd think that after Min, Heihachi would have been actually like with Min, Heihachi would have been like a higher possibility because you think about like how Tekken's like left and right and highs and lows, like sort of how Min works as a character with like her buttons. Could have worked for a Tekken character, but then Heihachi is like, here's your Mii costume.
Exactly, and like I was okay with that because I think I remember when we did our original conversation, you were like rooting for him, and I was like, I don't think we need another Ryu, Ken, what's it called, Terry now. Yeah. It's like I think we're good on that. If I'd like a better variety in that sense, but yeah, like I'm thinking. Like, the first thing I feel like is definitive is I think we're getting a Gen 8 Pokemon. Like, I would really be... I don't really mind if we get one or not, but, like, I would genuinely be shocked if we did not get a Gen 8 Pokemon in there, right?
So, like, I mean, let's dial it back. If you think about the spirits that are actually in Smash from Sword and Shield... It's none of the evolved or evolutions of the starters. It is just the first form, which, I mean, outside of, like, Pokemon Train, it's like they're not going to pull, like, a Pokemon Trainer again for Gen 8. I mean, that would be sick. But
I would love
I just feel
that.
like that's very unlikely. And then other than that, all they have are like Morpeko, Corviknight, and then Zacian and Zamazenta, which I mean they've never added a legendary to like a box legendary to a Pokemon to Smash before. So yeah,
they haven't. You're right.
And as we've seen with like the ARMS Spirit Board, they're not afraid to just reuse spirits. So
yeah, no, clearly, yeah, they don't care about that. No, I'm with you. It's like then obviously it's so hard to think because there's so many Pokemon, but they'd obviously go in with one that's popular. I would say maybe like I feel like Cinderace would be really cool just because of like the fireball aspect, like this idea that like maybe if you do like down B, like she goes into like a like just kind of a soccer stance where she's like kicking the ball around her and like you could choose to side B to throw the fireball for kind of like the literal soccer ball.
I was gonna say like the soccer ball item, they could have something like that on the down B, but it's a fireball. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's like maybe you can't like maybe enemies can't grab it like normal items. Maybe it literally is like it can only be kicked by Cinderace. So like whenever you kick it, it like rolls back to you or like poofs away and comes back. It's like I feel like again there's a lot of cool Gen 8 Pokemon, but I think out of the starters, Cinderace would be the most like kind of like over the like very fun and like over the top and stuff. And I don't know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think most people are sort of expecting a Gen 8 Pokemon. Now I think if it's gonna either be a starter or, as what I've said before, I still think that Urshifu could make sense because they are like a stance fighter martial artist character. I feel like we have like martial arts quote unquote characters, but like the whole like if they're in this stance they get these different attacks, and then this stance is different. There's not really someone who has like stances, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be a really sick. Yeah, like
that
when you
would
change the
fall
stance.
In line with like, oh well, you have the DLC that's coming out, that's relevant with the Crown Tundra and the Isle of Armor.
Right.
And also like that would be like something that the spirits couldn't have added because that wasn't out yet at that time, I don't believe. So I feel like that would work. I will say like there is one theme I think among the second Fighters Pass I think is gonna happen more so, and I do think that the Fighters Pass will have more first party characters, just based off the beginning of that interview where when they were adding content to Ultimate to begin with, they saw a lot of games that were in development, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that honestly makes me very hopeful for Xenoblade 2 character. Like I feel like it just makes sense to put in Rex at that point, right? Like there's no because Sakura's like, oh well, they barely missed out, but we wanted to put in content from them, and like I don't think necessarily having a Mii costume added at the beginning of the game like necessarily like immediately deconfirms you as a character. Like the same with spirits, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean like look, it's like for me, it really feels like the ARMS rep and Rex will kind of be like, it's like that statement they had made early on when they said ARMS and what's it called, and Xenoblade 2 were too late to basically make it. It's like I feel like they're gonna do it. Like I just think it's time. I think Xenoblade deserves another rep in Smash. I think Rex, especially Pyra and Mytha, are like super popular. Like even people that don't play Xenoblade have seen Mytha and Pyra stuff all over the timeline all the time. And they could just do really cool stuff with that character because he's not like Shulk where he has the shield smash buster. It's like the system works differently where you could have the two like the girls that you switch back and forth through in the background, and they could change what moves you release out. Like it's like they could do really cool stuff with Rex's style. Like how kind of the Pokemon trainer stands in the back. It could be like that for those two.
Yeah, and also like you gotta think Xenoblade 2 was super well selling. Like Xenoblade 2 sold very well. Now I don't know what the numbers are like compared to obviously Definitive Edition. But I know like Xenoblade 2 actually like outsold obviously the original Xenoblade Chronicles. I mean people are very much aware of the character. They've seen the character. They've not played the game themselves. And I just feel like if they don't add Rex, that'd just be a really weird like, oh well, we went back and added the ARMS character because we didn't have time, but we're not going to do that for Rex. Like I don't know, it wouldn't make sense to me to exclude Rex at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Another character, I honestly feel, I genuinely feel like Paper Mario has a genuine shot. To be honest with you,
I love that.
Because I feel like Sakurai. I mean, I know that this game came out sort of suddenly and was announced like 2 years later. But I feel like a Paper Mario, it would be a character that Sakurai would be like aware of, people would want, and I feel like he would be privy to know if there was a new one in development. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, first of all, are there Paper Mario spirits in the game? I don't remember. Are there?
There's a Paper Mario himself, there's Paper Bowser, and then there's Paper Bowser from Sticker Star. No.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Yeah, exactly.
I think the Paper Bowser at level 99 goes into...
Right.
Yeah, and then there's some characters...
they've got... Yeah.
There's some characters from Super Paper Mario, I think. There's like Mr. L.
Yeah, they've got... Yeah, you're right.
But not a lot, but like very, very little. Like, and
exactly.
and the spirits of Paper Mario that are in the game are like not even like major characters. There's like Kammy Koopa, Vivian, but there's so many Paper Marios. There's
right.
Oh god, there's Lady Boo or Lady Bo. Sorry,
yeah.
There's like
yeah. It's because also, Paper Mario is one of the few franchises in Smash where they have a stage but no character. Obviously Mario's the character, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they have a Paper Mario stage but not a Paper Mario. It's like, again, like that's the thing. It's like Paper Mario is, first of all, like, you can't really argue, oh, it's another Mario, because we technically haven't had another Mario since Melee. Like, Dr. Mario and Mario have been there since Melee, and nothing has, like, there's not been another one added. And you look at, like, Giant Ball Fighters, there's, like, 6 of them as DLC. So it's like...
Yeah, and also, like, a Paper Mario would be so wildly different than regular Mario. Like, we're not talking, like, a Link, Toon Link, Young Link situation here, you know?
No, absolutely not. Like, first of all, the complete aesthetic is different. This is a character that relies on, like, character specials or their own special moves, like the menu styles. And you've also got, like, the hammer. It would be this would be, like, such a cool mechanic of, like, because Smash has this option where, like, you know, when you bounce on someone's head and when you press bounce, they, like, start falling down. It's like, you can make that such, like, a cool mechanic of, like, just as soon as you land on an enemy's head, like, if you tap at the right time, you do extra damage. It's like that could see some.
Yeah,
you could see just like some
Paper
really
Mario
cool
has
combos.
timed hits as like a mechanic. It also would be really cool if, like, you know, if you're doing a combo and you had like a hype, like you could hype up the audience or something and it would do something. You know what I mean? Like just to play into that
cool,
too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'd love if like the stage was like. Yeah, they could make it based off what's called Origami King, where it's like the ring with the toads in the back. But I'd love if it was like the 1,000-Year Door, like the old school presentation, like when they're in a stage.
Yeah, I do feel that if they were gonna add Paper Mario, it would all be based off Origami King. That's just because that's how you do marketing. But
exactly.
Like, I could imagine like it'd be cool if like they had like Origami Peach's Castle or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? As like a stage, and then they integrate some of the new mechanics from Origami King. Like, I wouldn't be super opposed to that. I think that would just be a very character.
And even the music from Origami King. Like, imagine some of the battle theme remix.
Definitely.
Oh my god. He's so good. And like, what's it called? I think what would be really cool too is like, you can make his forward smash like a mini game, right? Like, when he's holding forward smash, it's not just he does it, like that little prompt comes back from 1,000-Year Door where it does like the ding, 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 and like you hit it at the right time. Like, it'd be just like such a cool... Maybe you're just really cool, man. Like, what a unique character it would be like, and kind of like Game & Watch where it's like 2D in that sense. Like, we don't have enough characters that like that. That's one thing I wish Smash had more of, which is like weird, like characters that are in a different style. Like, you know, like how, because I'm pretty sure Game & Watch is the only one, right?
Yeah, Game & Watch, like he has like the limited frames of animation. He goes into those old sprites of the Game & Watch games for his attacks. He's completely, like, his model is completely flat. Like,
that's what I'm saying. The model,
like, clashes, like quote unquote clashes, like, so differently next to everyone else because of his style. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even think people would be mad. I think it would just be like a really, really cool character, you know? Like, I'm with you on that. But again, I do think this pass is going to have at least 2 third-party characters, and I think at least one of them is gonna be a big deal. Like, I think if this is your Final Fighter pass and you still want that character that's gonna make people go holy shit, like we've got to have at least like one other major third party. And I'm trying to think, right, when I'm thinking of what are the major realistic third party characters left to have in such, I'd say like
Crash
for
maybe?
me, like logically. Yeah, Crash
would be a big one
deal.
because you know that's like a PlayStation icon, and the new game is coming out. I feel like if you're gonna throw in Crash, the timing right now just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Crash is in the best position right now because, yeah, he's an icon of PlayStation, but he's also no longer just tied to PlayStation. Like, now he is on multi-platform, he is with Activision, so it's that cool thing where you can kind of get a double win where you don't necessarily have to work with Sony, because I think they don't really work. I don't think Nintendo and PlayStation ever work together on anything, but you could still have a character that's important to that legacy and stuff. I think I'm with you. Crash is one I could totally see.
And even if you go back, there was after Crash's initial tenure, there were a ton of Crash games on Nintendo platforms. There was a ton of games on the GBA. Even like, people don't want to remember like the tribal tattoo era of Crash, but a lot of his games were on Nintendo platforms too. Like Crash has been Crash and Spyro both, but Crash a lot more, I feel like, has been on has been remembered on Nintendo platforms by some people because those games were actually pretty good. So I feel like Crash is in a very good position right now. And the other thing about Crash is Crash is not like Banjo-Kazooie, where they had their games and that was sort of it, and they sort of had that legacy to them because the Crash and Sing trilogy sort of reintroduced the character to a new generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like obviously he's really big. I mean, I think we found out recently the Insane trilogy sold 10 million copies. So Crash is just huge in general. He's an icon. Banjo is more of the thing about Banjo is it's more of a not a cult classic, but he's classic, but it's not it's the biggest thing. It's just
I would say Banjo is more of a nostalgia character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's recognizable. Everyone who knows gaming has seen Banjo and Kazooie on the internet in some way. I'm trying to think of another character. I mean, another big one I think we've all thrown around in some ways, Master Chief. Again, we've talked about how Nintendo and Microsoft, they're buddy-buddy, they work together on stuff. There is no, other than, Metroid Prime, there is no, first-person shooter rep, which obviously, first-person shooters are a massive part of the games industry that I feel it's not necessarily the biggest thing in Japan. It doesn't really matter to Japan, but it's I think obviously with Banjo being a big Western character, I feel Master Chief is just that would not only be a
huge.
massive
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you're talking about first-person shooters as genre, and some of Samus's abilities are from Prime, but if you think about the character, because she was in the original game, a lot of her moves are just inspired from her 2D side-scrolling adventure. You know what I mean? And so,
exactly.
She hasn't really been updated for Prime mechanics. And I feel if Master Chief would I think be more, it would work more than I mean, Doomguy would be cool. I think it's between Doomguy or Master Chief at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're gonna get a first-person shooter character.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of those characters is either in the game or is at least going to be a premium Mii costume. I just think one of those two is getting in this game somehow. I truly believe that to the end. And let's try to think here of do you think, for example, so how do we feel right now about Sora? Is Sora looking to you more and more likely, less and less likely?
I think Sora's in this weird gray area of constantly being he's in this purgatory of always nothing's impossible. That's all I can say. I don't I find it weird that so many people are I mean, I used to be oh well, Disney, blah blah blah, but there's been a lot of stuff that's come out recently that's well, it's not necessarily a thing with Disney, and I feel that they always release Kingdom Hearts games on Nintendo platforms and have been for ages. If they're gonna add Sora, they'll add Sora. That's just it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, exactly.
People thought that working with Microsoft to get Banjo would be completely impossible. So.
Exactly. No, and again, I've told this to people, and I know it's not exactly the same thing, but Disney is not yes, Disney is hard to work with, but they're not impossible. I mean, they're releasing games. They've worked with Nintendo to do Ultimate Alliance. They've worked with Nintendo to do Tsum Tsum Festival.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of Disney games and a lot of Disney licensed games that always come out on Nintendo stuff.
And again, we've talked about it with Sora is a unique character where yes, there's a lot of Disney stuff, but you can make a complete moveset that's based off the moves he has that are original to him, and the Keyblade, and have Traverse Town, which is like a Kingdom Hearts original town. It's like you could do a lot with Sora that isn't Kingdom Hearts. Yes, and it's like I know you would lose a bit of that charm by not having Donald and Goofy and stuff, but I think it's more. If anything, I'd prefer if it's like, you know, it's like Sora, Riku, and Kairi, you know, as his final attack. Like those three, I feel like they're like a big parts of this series. You know, you could definitely do a lot of, like, I think people will be happy with Sora no matter what way he's in. And I think just leaving out the Disney stuff, doing the Kingdom Hearts original songs, worlds, and moves will still make that character like amazing.
Yeah, like, you know, I think Sakurai understands that, you know, fans are just happy to see their character in Smash. Like, I think Kingdom Hearts fans as a whole, would some of them be like, oh, well, you know, there's no Disney stuff and that's a big part of it? Yeah, but I think most of the fans at this point would be like, I just, you know, we love Kingdom Hearts and it's just cool that it's here. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. Another big character we've all thrown around, and I really do think this one's happening. Like, this is one, this is one of the few I'd be disappointed if it doesn't, because I feel like it's obvious. I think Dante. Like, there's so many reasons I think Dante, because first of all, another action game rep. 2, he's iconic. 3, big in Japan. 4, Capcom is incredibly well like represented in Smash, and they clearly work well with Capcom. 5, he's been in fighting games, so clearly there's that style. And it's like I think there's no reason. Like, I think if Nintendo wanted Dante, Capcom would be like, go, like, do it.
Yeah,
so
Capcom is super cool with their IPs. Like, they'll just do it. And I think the biggest thing that points to that for me personally, we got Resident Evil Spirits as DLC and not Devil May Cry, when Resident Evil is arguably a bigger franchise for Capcom.
Yeah. Exactly.
Why would they do that? That just blows my mind. That Resident Evil would just be dropped as Spirits. When I think, if you're gonna compare, like, I mean, I don't have it on me right now, but if you were to compare, like, game sales and franchise, like, the size of a franchise a whole, Resident Evil is way bigger and honestly way more impactful in terms of, like, it literally created a survival horror genre.
I think the recent earnings call said, like, the franchise has officially topped, like, 100 million units, which is unbelievable. And I think Devil May Cry is, like, at about, like, 15 to 20. Like, it's a series that sells a few million per game, and not necessarily, like, that's not Resident Evil. But yeah, it's like, no, I'm with you, man. I really think Dante just makes so much sense, obviously, in a moveset standpoint, on a hype standpoint, on a possibility standpoint. Like, there's nothing stopping this character, and I think this would be such, like, you can already picture how wild it'll be.
Dante obviously would be known just for having, like, you know, a ton of moves. And obviously that would take much more development time than, like, let's say your Byleth. But if you think about, like, what they did for Hero, like, I can imagine that Dante would be an inevitability. It's just that they where they would show up, they might be later, or the fact that they're even on Fighters Pass 2 could be another factor to it. That, you know, they would take a much longer time to develop, you know? Yeah.
And again, we have that quote from, I think, like, a year and a half ago now, before the DMC games came to Switch, where the director said we should at least have the Devil May Cry games on Switch before Dante gets into Smash. And again, we don't know if by this point that was a hint, because like, as soon as he said that, those games have slowly started to join the Switch. I think all they're missing is from the mainline ones, because they're not going to talk about the reboot.
I don't think 4 has been put on Switch yet, has it?
Yeah, exactly. It's only 4 left. And I think they could totally do a marketing thing of, like, they announce 4 coming to Switch, and then they announce Dante, and maybe they could finally have, like, an ultimate bundle where they have 1 through 4 in there. But
because, I just, you know, as much as good at, like, as DMC 5 is, and as, like, you know, as popular as that game was, I think that Dante's incarnation in, like, the 4 to you know, the original series, you know, and, like, the original 4 games Dante is the one that most people recognize, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the one they'd put in there. Yeah, like, it's, I just think this one feels like, to me, this is the character that's so easy to say, yes, it's happening, just because there's so many factors going into, like, its success.
Like, the fact that we haven't gotten a Dante Spirit when we've had like Rathalos and other Capcom IPs in the game yet. Like, that just feels like, where is it? You know what I mean? If Dante was a spirit, they would have added him a long ass time ago. You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, I'm totally with you on that. Is there? What's another character that's like a big deal that could get in that hasn't yet? Again, I don't think we're gonna see any like. I think by this point, indies are fully relegated to the premium Mii costumes.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm saying. I just feel like if you're gonna put someone as big as Cuphead or Shovel Knight as an assist trophy or a costume part, I feel like that's as far as you go. Like I feel like there's not gonna be now. There could be. I don't know. I just feel like it won't happen. Like even if you think about like maybe one of the most important indie games ever of Cave Story, I just don't feel like they would be. No. I just don't feel like Quote would be a character. Like even as someone who thinks Cave Story is one of their all-time favorite games like ever, I just don't see it happening. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Another one that was like he was kind of rumored for a while, but then the rumors kind of died off. Is Ryu Hayabusa? Like he was one of the late rumors for Fighter Pass 1, and I feel like that conversation has kind of died down. Again, it's not impossible. I mean, again, Koei Tecmo and Nintendo are really buddy-buddy. They don't have a character repped in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they worked together for Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors, so they had a history of working in
Three
the past.
Houses.
I could see them adding a character like that. If not Ryu Hayabusa, it's also possible that Musou as a genre isn't really represented. It could add like a character from Dynasty Warriors. I feel like that could be up in the air too.
I feel like that would be like then you enter like a niche that's like a niche of a niche. Like not like you had people asking who is Terry. If you get into like Dynasty a main Warriors, character of a Dynasty Warrior, people are gonna be like, who is? Even I'll be like, who is this? I think if they were gonna represent Koei though, I think Ryu is the obvious choice. I mean, he like from what I've seen and people what they want from him, he's got like his different spells. He's got like he would kind of be like Sheik, but I guess more like aggressive in some ways and have more magic and stuff integrated with him.
Actually, speaking of Sheik, you know, we could easily get another Zelda character because Breath of the Wild 2 would be. You know, we haven't heard anything about it in a while. You know what I mean? No.
Yeah, the only thing we've learned recently is that like the voice actors finished their lines. That's about it.
Yeah, so obviously I think if there was going to be a Breath of the Wild 2, Sakurai would know about that, like, for sure.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
And,
I do think another Zelda character would make sense. I mean, Impa is a spirit that was in the base game, so she has a good chance.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think anyone would complain about a not Zelda or Link character in Smash. Like, I think if you added one of the the divine characters, like the ones
honestly,
from Breath of the Wild.
If they did Breath of the Wild Zelda and it was, let's say Zelda, theoretically Zelda is a character you can control. If you could control Zelda in Breath of the Wild 2, and then they add Breath of the Wild Zelda as a character who does all those cool things,
sick.
I'd be all for it because I think I am willing to make an exception for Zelda only because Zelda as a franchise. Every game is like these are the same characters but reincarnated in a different form. Right. And I feel like, as you know, does it suck that Young Link and Toon Link don't use any of the cool, unique items from their games? Yeah, but I don't think their inclusion is inherently bad. You know what I mean? Because like they're a different incarnation of the character, and that's what Zelda is all about. So we'll see. I mean, hell, if we see like crazy Breath of the Wild 2 Ganon as his own character, that'd be so cool. Crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I think any new Zelda character could be really cool in this modern time. Another one, man, like I don't think so, but I would love it, is like, and I want to do a whole episode about this representation, but Sonic, like, man, I think Tails, like, I don't think anyone would be mad if Tails was added in.
I'm more surprised that he hasn't. That's just like, it's mind-boggling.
I know.
That for as big a franchise as Sonic, and for the amount of characters they have, the only character they have is Sonic himself and like some assist trophies, like, and 2 stages, like, and come on, the stage, like, Lost World, really? I don't think everything in the franchise,
I know.
You know,
dude, I would love if it's like Tails and it's like Sunset Beach,
or
like
Radical Highway, dude.
Yeah, Radical Highway, like one of those two. But like, I just think like another Sonic rep, like, it's like, I know they want to represent as many franchises as they can, but it's like it just feels like, first of all, Tails is completely different other than his little spin dash. He's got, like, obviously, his, like, the way he flies around is different. He can use maybe his vehicles. Like, it depends which Tails they base it off of. If they base it off Adventure, yeah, he could have his little mech and his different attacks. If they base it off, like, Mania style, like old school one, he'll be more limited in moveset. But it's like, I think if maybe they could even tie it into, like, if they're doing Adventure remakes and, like, make it Adventure style Tails, or again,
well, there was I don't know if you remember Sonic Battle. There's a lot of cool moves that the characters had in Sonic Battle that they also implement too.
Exactly. Like, I feel like they wouldn't go to that because Sakurai kind of likes to pull from, like, the main games to pull moves, but obviously, yeah, he could look at that. And it's like, but I just think, like, another Sonic rep, I don't think anyone would be mad, like, unless it was literally just an echo of, like, it was just Shadow, which, again, people would be happy about, but it's like, I think they could get away with doing another Sonic rep after so many years. I mean, like, he's basically been in Smash for over 10 years, and I think he could get another character. I mean, we got Ken, which obviously Ken's an echo, but he does have a lot of unique aspects to him. I feel like they could do some really cool shit with another Sonic rep in there.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I just feel like it's crazy to me how underutilized Sonic is, you know?
Yeah, I agree. What's another character you think has a shot that would be, like, really weird or different that we're not thinking about?
I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it would make sense to have another Namco character because Namco has so many characters in their library that aren't just, you know, Pac-Man is obviously the face, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that Namco has up to offer. But I think my problem, like, my only problem is, like, you know, I was thinking about, you know, maybe a character from the Tails games. Those are still very popular in Japan. A lot of people like Lloyd.
Yeah, you'd think Lloyd would be, though. If they were gonna pull a Tails character, I think they would do Lloyd.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, because I feel like how safe are they gonna play it on this Fighters Pass, you know what I mean? Because I feel like, yeah, we had Piranha Plant, but if you think about, like, Fighters Pass 1, I wouldn't really call any character on there, like, a really big oddball character, you know what I mean? Because I want the character to sell, and I feel like if they do something, like, from a more obscure game or another, like, a character that people would not have, like, as much knowledge of, I feel like, I don't know, you know? Because I think even if you, like, compare, like, Dragon Quest and Persona to, like, the Tales games in Japan, I feel like even in Japan, it's not like they're the single biggest names over there, you know?
They're pretty big. I think we found out recently that the series has sold over, like, 20 million, which is still, like, really,
that's still, like, decent. A lot. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I think if they were gonna add a Tails character, it would be Lloyd. Like, that would be a way to get in there. And yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's with Bandai, like, Pac-Man honestly is becoming less and less of the face. It's like they take so poor care of Pac-Man. They barely put Pac-Man stuff out there. They're barely. I mean, look at, it's the anniversary this year. They made, like, some Twitch, like, plugin game that's not even, like, a big deal. It's like, I feel like that's becoming so less and less. I mean, like, I could see someone even, not necessarily from Bandai, but I could see if Nintendo wanted to be wild and weird, they could add Kiryu from Yakuza. Yeah, it's a franchise that's becoming really big, and I feel like he could do a lot of. That would be like
another Sega rep, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that could be another weird, cool one. They could also do.
This is something that we were thinking about talking in a separate episode, but it's kind of crazy that Kirby has not had a new character since Brawl.
I know.
Like, really? Like. And now I know Sakurai is biased because that's his you know, child, that's his series.
Yeah, that's his baby.
But, like, modern Kirby, like, you know, there's no character really representing, like, the modern era of Kirby at all, you know.
Which, again, that's why people want Bandandi, because,
like, you think Bandandi, especially, you know, they're a spirit that doesn't in the base game, so they still have a good chance. And that's why people want Bandandi, because if you, like, he was and has consistently been, ever since Return to Dreamland, he has been a consistent character in, like, every single Kirby game, whether he's playable or he makes an appearance. And he, you know, anyone who's played Kirby will tell you that the spear power that you can get in the game and that Bandana has is very unique. Right. And no one really fights with a spear. Like, you say Byleth, but Byleth just uses one sometimes, you know?
I feel like my thing with Bandandi, as much as I want him, is, like, my one issue with him is, like, he would have zero, like, because even, I played the Kirby games, all he has is the spear. There's no, like, special abilities to them. Like, maybe if they found a way to, like, make the spear have, like, different, like, properties, like electricity or fire or something, that'd be really cool, because, like,
in Star Allies,
Yeah.
you can charge you can charge some things with elements.
Exactly.
So,
like,
yeah.
that would make it really cool.
Yeah, they could definitely pull off something like that.
Yeah. Because I think just having a spear, you know, like you already know the moveset, like the neutral air is just like a jab with the spears, the side B can be throwing the spear. It's like it just feels like a very plain kind of character to have in there. I feel like I don't mind having them in, but I feel like they might want to be they might want to challenge themselves. But yeah, another again, I feel like this character I think has to get in. I think with this potentially being the final pass and Nintendo like Sakurai wanting to have loose threads done, I think Geno just feels like the last of the OG kind of. We want this character in this game. Like, we got Ridley, we got Banjo,
K-Rool.
and I think Geno would... Yeah, we got K-Rool. It's like, I really think Geno... That would be one that, like, would make the most hardcore fans. Because even if you're not a hardcore fan or have played Mario RPG, it's like, you have heard about people wanting Geno for Smash. Like, it's like, it would be so hard, even if you weren't a Geno fan, not to be happy for those people who have wanted this character for ages. And again... They still have not re-added the Geno costume.
The Geno costume has not been re-added, no. And, you know, Geno is a base game spirit, so he definitely still has the potential.
Exactly.
You know, and actually, if you think about it, we recently had spirits from not only the Trials of Mana games, but also Octopath Traveler, both of which are Square Enix. So
that's true. That's
true.
I mean,
and if you think about Hero 2, like, now obviously Square is Square, but I feel like Square, you know, it's possible that the relationship has gotten better to the point where they are able to implement characters from Super Mario RPG, you know?
And I think this is a little different, right? Because, like, with Mario RPG, there's more of a direct link with Nintendo, so they can't be as, like, it can't be as annoying to work with because technically they're sharing the rights with that game and stuff. Like, it's their characters and stuff. Obviously, Geno's an original character, but it's like, I feel like that game might be a little easier to get more songs and more stuff for because of how they had a relationship in the first place to make that game, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. Yeah, no, I feel like
this
Geno
is his
just
one
makes so many
chance.
people
Yeah,
happy.
this is his only chance. So
This is it. Like, I honestly think this is it for Geno. You know, we're entering that realm of time with that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, like, I don't think they're gonna add another Final Fantasy up. I mean, the problem with Square is they have so many characters that are Smash able, but like, you realistically think we can't get more than another one Square rep in this pass, Yana. It's gonna be one
I
of
would
them.
be totally fine for another Final Fantasy character because it's not like the series is represented at all. Because I don't know what the hell Square was on back then. I mean, it's crazy to me how much more love and care was put into Hero because you know what's funny? You know what it boils down to with Square? They are very much, you know, what's in it for us? What promotion can we do for us? Like, what are you gonna, you know what I mean? Because like, if you think about when Cloud was added, it's not like Final Fantasy VII Remake was anywhere announced or like coming out. You know what I mean? Like, if Cloud was added as DLC now with the remake, they'd be like, oh, hell yeah, here's a stage, and here are all the characters, and here's a bunch of music, you know what I mean? But they didn't. The only reason they were like that with Hero is because Dragon Quest XI S was coming out.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's mostly it on that. I mean, okay. Let's say right now, right? Let's say you had let's say you had to place like $1,000 bet, right? Someone tells you, you gotta guess an estimation of the 5. Like, you can say which series, not that they guess the exact, like, if you were to specifically say what you think the 5 final fighters will be, what would you say?
I think, I'm gonna say Dante and Crash, and then I would imagine Paper Mario, Gen 8 Pokemon, and Rex. I feel like that's the safest I can go on all of those.
Yeah, for 5 final ones, I would say a Gen 8 Pokemon, Dante, Master Chief, Rex. That leaves one more spot. I'm gonna say...
You wanna go for the Geno?
I would, I'm gonna say Geno, yeah. Yeah, that would be my 5. Those are my 5 predictions. And we'll see. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens there. So... yeah, I mean, I hope hope if there's a direct next week or something that we see a new character. But of course, we'll be here to talk about that if that happens. Guys, let us know in the comments below who you think the last 5 fighters are, who you really want to see as the final 5 fighters. And yeah, of course, we'll see one day when it's all done. So thank you all for watching. Remember, you could follow Ultima at UltimateShadowX on Twitter. You could follow me on the down low though. You could subscribe to me here on Twitch, also on the Gamescade. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Peace out.
Peace.